I know I'd beat him. It's funny because I got laughed at for it, but I know I'd beat him.
Yeah, but that's what separates you from the other guys.
Yeah.
From the other guys, isn't it?
I don't know I'd beat him, lad. We've already talked about a game plan to beat him, lad. I don't know how to beat him.
Paddy Pimblett sends a clear warning message to Ilia Topuria. "I'd beat him," Paddy Pimblett claims. Ilia Topuria's opponents all make the same mistake ahead of UFC 317.
Stop tweeting about me all week, lad. He needs to sort his life out.
Shut up, man.
The lightweight division is heating up, and we've got some explosive claims from Liverpool's own Baddy that have the MMA world talking. Stick around, because we're breaking down everything you need to know about this brewing rivalry, Topuria's upcoming title shot, and why Pimblett believes he's cracked the code to beating one of the UFC's most dominant fighters. Let's dive straight into the controversy. Paddy Pimblett is not backing down from his claim that he would defeat the undefeated Ilia Topuria, and he's doubling down with some serious analysis.
To be honest, I don't know what to tell you. He's a good fighter. He's not a good fighter. Sometimes his fight sucks. Sometimes he does something that looks good. I don't know. He's a very average level of fighter. Let's say like that.
Speaking with Tom Aspinall, Pimblett stated confidently, "I know I'd beat him. Funny, because I get laughed at for it, but I know I beat him."
I know I'd beat him. It's funny because I got laughed at for it, but I know I'd beat him.
Yeah, but that's what separates you from the other guys.
Yeah.
From the other guys, isn't it?
This might sound like typical fighter bravado, but Pimblett isn't just talking trash. He's breaking down what he sees as a fundamental flaw in how fighters approach Topuria. According to the Baddy, every opponent makes the same critical mistake. No one goes for his weaknesses when they fight. Everyone just decides to have a boxing match with him.
No one goes for his weaknesses when he fights up. Everyone just tries to have a boxing match with him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out and have a boxing match with him. I'm going to beat him with my all-round MMA game.
This is a fascinating tactical observation from Pimblett, who believes fighters are playing directly into Topuria's strengths instead of exploiting his vulnerabilities. This beef isn't new, fight fans. These two have been going at it ever since they clashed at a hotel in London 3 years ago. That's right, this rivalry has been simmering for years. Since Topuria made his move to the lightweight division, he's made it crystal clear that he hates Pimblett. In fact, Topuria recently called Pimblett a hypocrite and stated that if he could choose any fight, it would be against the Baddy because of how much he despises him.
So it didn't happen because he told me something yesterday. It comes from a long time ago. He posted like, now I understand why Russia destroyed Georgia, because you are dumps. And it makes my blood boil. You know, when I saw, I was like surprised. I didn't believe when I saw that tweet, because in 2008 I was living in Georgia when that war happened. You know, and it was a very difficult time for me, for my family, for all my friends, for my country. You know, a lot of innocent people, kids, were dying in that war, and see how someone is joking about that, it makes my blood boil. So it's hard. You have to Ukraine flag, you know. Can you imagine if I start to make some jokes about the war where the children are dying, people are suffering, you know? You can talk about that.
The personal animosity is real, and it's adding serious fuel to this potential matchup. When fighters genuinely dislike each other, it often leads to the most entertaining and explosive fights we see in the octagon. Let's put Pimblett's claims into perspective. Ilia Topuria is coming off an absolutely perfect 16-0 professional MMA record. The 28-year-old Georgian-Spanish fighter is widely considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the entire UFC roster.
Look at a guy like Ilia that can grapple. He hits like a 170-pounder, and he has a strength of about a 155-pounder. He hits harder than Islam, I'm telling you. He hits harder than almost every 55er there. It's because a lot of it's genetic, but his technique is legit along with his genetics that God gave him.
He
could win the belt, I'm telling you, and defend that belt.
Mm-hmm.
He could do some rock star shit at that weight class.
Well,
He'll beat like a guy like Gagey that just won. I think he would flatline Gagey.
El mundo hablará el sábado por la noche de nosotros.
Topuria shocked the world by capturing the featherweight title from Alexander Volkanovski, and now he's making a bold move up to lightweight, where he's been granted an immediate title shot against Charles Oliveira at UFC 317 on June 28. This is huge. Topuria is attempting to become a two-weight champion, following in the footsteps of legends like Conor McGregor and Daniel Cormier. If he succeeds against Dubronk's Oliveira, he'll cement his status as one of the sport's elite.
I want to fight you next and kick like I did the last time. I want a blonde. That Paddy.
Do you think Paddy will fight you in the future?
Paddy?
When we spoke to Ilia, he said that he didn't think you had the balls to fight him. Is that a fight that you want?
Never, ever. I don't think so.
Everyone wants to fight me. Everyone wants to hang on my coattails.
Maybe if Dana stay with him like with a gun, maybe yes.
No one knew hand sanitizer boy was until he tried to start an altercation with me. No one knew who he was.
But here's where it gets interesting for our story. A potential showdown with Pimblett could be on the horizon, depending on how UFC 317 plays out. So, what exactly is Pimblett's master plan? He's not just talking, he claims to have already developed specific game plans with his team. We've already talked about game plans to beat him. I'm not going to come out and have a boxing match with him. I'm going to beat him with my all-around MMA game.
We've already talked about a game plan to beat him, lad. I don't know how to beat him. No one goes for his weaknesses when he fights out. Everyone just tries to have a boxing match with him. I'm not going to come out and have a boxing match with him. I'm going to beat him with my all-round MMA game.
This makes perfect sense when you consider Pimblett's skill set. He's known for his grappling prowess, submission threats, and unorthodox fighting style, exactly the kind of varied attack that could potentially trouble a striker like Topuria. Pimblett's confidence isn't unfounded either. He's coming off a brutal third-round TKO victory over Michael Chandler at UFC 314 in April, a performance that announced his arrival as a legitimate lightweight contender. After that dominant win, Pimblett called out anyone in the lightweight top 5, showing he's ready to face elite competition. Before any potential Topuria showdown, Pimblett has his sights set on former interim champion Justin Gaethje. He believes beating The Highlight would put him next in line for a title shot. I know for a fact that if I beat Gaethje, I'm next in line, Pimblett stated confidently.
Who should Paddy the Baddy be fighting next?
Oh, dude, Paddy the Baddy likely is going to fight with Justin Gaethje. But you want to know who doesn't want that fight is Gaethje.
Or Arman Sarukian?
That's the thing. So Arman just called him out. Gaethje believes, with the mandate of the masses that he just has, not to mention the risk that he took over Fitzayev. When you take a risk like you're a big star and you take on a guy that dangerous that's lesser known, you get a reward for it. And even though Gaethje's 1-1 in his last 2, just remind you out of his last 3, 2 of them were title fights. He believes he's the #1 contender. Gaethje believes I don't have to do anything. I can sit here and wait. Gaethje, at some point in his career, has the right to tell the decision makers, we're going to do it my way. He's never pulled that card yet. I feel like as a community, we have to get behind him when it's the only thing he's ever asked for.
He's targeting a potential fight with Gaethje in Abu Dhabi this October, and after what he did to Chandler, he's convinced he'd finish Gaethje as well. The timeline could work perfectly if Topuria defeats Oliveira at UFC 317, and Pimblett gets past Gaethje. We could be looking at one of the most personal and heated title fights in recent memory. So there you have it, fight fans. Paddy Pimblett isn't just talking trash, he's making tactical observations and backing them up with solid reasoning. Whether you believe the Baddy can back up his bold claims or think Topuria's dominance will continue, this potential rivalry has all the ingredients for fireworks.
You're like beefing with like Paddy the Baddy. The quality of the fighter he is, man, come on, please. Don't even compare me to that boom, because we are on different levels and everyone can see that. It's very disrespectful to me, to my country, to all my people. And he said something. Now I understand why the Russians put the bombs in Georgia. When you start to joke about that kind of things, just make sure that we don't find each other anywhere, because I'm going to take your fucking head off. He wants to build his hype laughing at people. And that's not the way I'm looking to build a hype.
What do you think? Can Pimblett's all-around MMA game trouble the seemingly unstoppable Ilia Topuria? Or is this just another case of a fighter biting off more than he can chew? Drop your predictions in the comments below, smash that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest UFC coverage. We'll be back with more fight news, analysis, and breakdowns. Until then, keep training hard, and we'll see you in the next one.
Everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. I was talking to Adam Cattle about it the other week.
Yeah,
like,
seen it.
He should be stripped now.
It obviously was a bit annoying at the time, but it's all in the past now. We're moving forward. Everything's good. We can get fighting again, and I just want to get fighting, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Must be fucking sick of getting asked about that, you know.
It's yeah, it's not the best. You know what? It's better now because I do know what's going on a little bit, and I am going to fight soon, so that's nice. But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is? Is like, you know this yourself. It's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now. And that's got nothing to do with me, which is, it's a bit frustrating to be honest, but we are nearly over it now, which is good.
Tom Aspinall has just sent a crystal clear warning message to Jon Jones, and it's not what you'd expect from the usually reserved British champion. In a recent candid interview with fellow UFC star Paddy Pimblett, Aspinall dropped some bombshell revelations about the Jon Jones situation, his future plans, and why he believes the heavyweight division has been held hostage for far too long.
Didn't think they'd make Islam vacate. But if you're making Islam vacate, Jones needs to be stripped. You know what I mean? If you're making Islam vacate after 4 defences, fighting people on short notice, you should let him try and be double champ.
We're also diving deep into Paddy Pimblett's explosive comments about Jones, Dana White's latest statements on the heavyweight unification saga, and what this all means for the future of the division. Stick around because this story has more twists than a Jon Jones fight contract negotiation. Let's start with the headline that's got everyone talking. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion who's been waiting 577 days for his shot at undisputed gold, has finally had enough of the Jon Jones circus. In a training session video with Paddy Pimblett, Aspinall delivered what can only be described as a warning shot to Jones. But here's the thing, it wasn't delivered with anger or frustration. Instead, Aspinall's message was cold, calculated, and perhaps more devastating because of its matter-of-fact delivery.
Best life, mate, in Thailand, so everybody reaches a sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on.
Everybody reaches their sell-by date, don't they? Everybody's got a time limit. He's reached it, and we move on. That's not just trash talk, folks. That's a man who's moved past caring about Jon Jones and is ready to claim what he believes is rightfully his. Aspinall continued by saying the situation is now in the past and he's excited to fight again. But the most revealing part? Aspinall confirmed he's going to fight soon, and it sounds like it won't be against Jones. This suggests the UFC is finally ready to move forward without their most problematic champion.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. I'm going to go and prove that pretty soon, so it's coming.
If Aspinall's comments were a surgical strike, Paddy Pimblett's were a full-scale assault. The Liverpool lightweight didn't hold back when discussing Jon Jones during their training session. Pimblett started by declaring Aspinall as the best heavyweight in the world, especially the best active heavyweight in the world, a not-so-subtle dig at Jones's inactivity. But he didn't stop there. I reckon anyone else in that position would have been stripped. He should be stripped now. This is significant because it's coming from one of the UFC's biggest current stars. Pimblett has a massive following and isn't known for creating unnecessary controversy. When he speaks out like this, people listen. But perhaps most damning was Pimblett's assessment of Jones's impact on the sport. The fact he's not stepping up and fighting you, he's let the whole MMA fan base down. And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding interim.
The fact he's not stepping up and fighting yet, he's let the whole MMA fan base down.
I couldn't have somebody else saying that they're going to beat me and not at least fight them. And then if I lose, at least I tried my best.
And it's even more in that case when you're the reigning heavyweight champion of the world and you've got someone holding...
It is crazy.
Heavyweight champion.
It is a crazy situation, but there's a lot of politics, isn't there, in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really...
This isn't just criticism from a fellow fighter. This is a public indictment of Jones's behavior from someone who represents the voice of the fans. Now, here's where things get really interesting. UFC President Dana White made some revealing comments after UFC 316 that might have exposed more than he intended. White confirmed that Jon Jones did initially agree to fight Tom Aspinall, stating, Jon Jones agreed to do the fight. Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted the deal.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said...
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
So but he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
Right. So there were some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. But yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
But here's the kicker. White also compared Jones to Anderson Silva in terms of how difficult he is to negotiate with. That's not exactly a compliment when you consider Silva's later career controversy. Multiple reports now suggest that Jones accepted the fight verbally, but has since gone back on his word, admitting to the UFC that he's no longer interested in fighting Aspinall. Instead, rumors are swirling that Jones is eyeing a lucrative bout with Francis Ngannou.
It was kind of crazy how much interest Jon showed in the Francis Ngannou fight. Like, there was some tweets going back and forth. What would happen if he came to you and says, like, I'll fight, but I won't fight Aspinall, I would fight Ngannou? Would you even be interested in that or no?
I don't have Ngannou under contract, and Aspinall's the guy.
Right. If you were put in the position, would you maybe try to get Ngannou back under contract or no?
Probably not.
This creates a massive problem for the UFC. How do you handle a champion who won't fight the #1 contender, but is willing to fight for bigger paydays elsewhere? It's a situation that's never been handled well in combat sports history. Tom Aspinall gave us rare insight into the behind-the-scenes politics that have kept him in limbo for nearly a year. In his conversation with Pimblett, Aspinall revealed his frustration with the situation. Money, fame, ranking, titles. I just like fighting. That's what I got into MMA for. That's been taken away from me for nearly a year now, and it's got nothing to do with me, which is a bit frustrating, to be honest.
But for like the last kind of 6 months, I've just not known what's going on. Do you know what the worst bit is like, you know this yourself, it's like money, fame, titles, rankings, all that aside, I just love fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like fighting people. That's what I got into it for. I didn't get into it for anything else. All the other stuff is just like nice to have on top. I want to be the best fighter I can be. I love it. I'm in the gym every day. I just want to fight. That's been taken away from me for like nearly a year now, and that's got nothing to do with me, which is, it's a bit frustrating.
This highlights a fundamental problem in modern MMA, when politics and money supersede competition and merit. Aspinall has been the interim champion for over 18 months, has defended his title, and has been actively campaigning for the unification bout. Yet he's been held hostage by Jon Jones's indecision. Aspinall also touched on the reality of top-level UFC politics. There's a lot of politics in the UFC at the top levels. It's out of my hands, so there's nothing really else I can do about it.
It is a crazy situation, but there's a lot of politics in there in the UFC at the top levels, and it's just like out of my hands, so there's nothing I can really...
But here's what's changed. It sounds like Aspinall is no longer waiting. Reports suggest he'll be fighting Cyril Gane for the undisputed title, with Jones potentially vacating the belt. This heavyweight drama has given us everything: retirement fakeouts, contract negotiations gone wrong, and now public call-outs from fellow fighters. But most importantly, it might have given us clarity on the division's future. Tom Aspinall's warning to Jon Jones wasn't really a warning at all. It was a farewell. The interim champion is done waiting, done playing politics, and ready to claim his throne with or without Jones. We'll continue following this story as it develops. Make sure to subscribe for all the latest MMA news and analysis, and let us know in the comments,